It's fine. Kaylin one hai. Not Kilebuhile, but Kilain. Kaylin. It's Keileen. Marukum. Okay. And then Kilebuhile. Kireleng, okay? Luciano. Lucretia. Apologies. Matadiso. Moiboni. It's fine, I will find the other one. Moiboni Grace. Monica Lesabo. Monica. You don't. Monica Lesabo. Neo, yeah. Neo. Where's Neo? Tabi saying Matt. You will see the duplicates. Matt, I'm saying Matt. How many Tabi sayings do we have? Only one, right? Patricia. Peterson. Buloko. Rosane. AKA Sharon. Rulaine. It's Yammer. She's mom. She's angry. Jake what? Stephanie. Tabiso. Victor. Williams. Zamile. Zamile. Oh, you're done. Teki Swaduma. Dimagato. Kiwena maybe think. I can't humiliate Dimagato. No, it's saved with only the name. Dimagato Morobi. It's long qualities. I get it, but long qualities. Dimagato, it's also. Freddy, Chazaman. Duplicate.
Sorry.
Fumani.
I'm here.
Kajaho. Murray. Lerato. Go ahead. Lingiwe.
Colleagues, can you please listen?
Mudieri.
Because come the time when they issue certificate and you are busy disturbing, you won't get your certificate and you'll be complaining and it will be too late and the people are leaving today. So please, let's give her an ear and let's respond so that we can finish. We have another presentation in the next 2 minutes.
Nombulela Chabeli. Ntaki. Orabile. Poppy. Terane Jacobs. If I didn't announce your name, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. You will come to me then. Thank you so much.
You see, this is very, very important. Bring it here. You see, this is what is more important when it comes to making sure that you all get. You know, it's so bad when other people are receiving while you were with them, and when now your name is not called. And then you start complaining by then. But when confirmations were made, you were busy making noise. Or you allowed somebody to make noise. So those who their names were not called, please go and see Sharp Sharon so that we can sort this thing out. Okay. Zakes, we've got the next presenter. Who's that? Come on. From DZDT. So we expecting a presentation from DCDT. What does DCDT stands for? Who can give me the answer? Raise up your hand if you know the answer.
Department of Communications and Technology.
No?
Department of Communication and Digital Technologies.
So we're expecting a presentation from DCDT, and the presentation is about white paper. If we get the person connected, who can tell me what is a white paper? Don't, please, I'm not a choir conductor. A4 white paper, yes. White paper, who can tell me? No, you are correct. What is white paper? Akiri, we normally hear people talking about white paper. What? I want to know if we understand. Because when he says it's A4 paper is also white, isn't it?
Ke tsela e ntho government a fanang ka mo di-policy eng.
She's saying it's a process of the way government gives in policies. I don't know. You wanted to answer? White paper, who wants to answer again? Already. Is she connected? Okay. Can I please request all of us? We are now going to listen to Ntombi from DCDT. She will be talking to us. Please take notes. It's very important because when a person presents and you take notes, tomorrow you'll be able to go back to your notes and check what has been said throughout this program. And this will also remind you in making sure that you are also able to do something about what you have been taught. You can also share through your notes to somebody who's not here, who missed. You can also share with the person who's not here. Can I please ask you guys not to disturb me because we are done with certificates? Ladies, please. We are done with certificates. I don't need or expect any disturbance. Mamas, can you come sit this side? You know, being a principal or a teacher is very difficult. Sharon knows. Sharon, are these people aware that I'm your father? Oh, they don't know. This is my daughter. Okay. I don't even think about it. No lobola. Okay. Let's all welcome Ntombi. Ntombi will introduce herself, and then please let's listen very attentively and carefully and take notes and make sure that at the end of the day we will be able to ask questions. Remember, my first question was, what is white paper? So take note if she will explain what is white paper. And Ntombi, welcome and over to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, but we need to see you. Then
okay.
you can dismiss the camera later. But for now, can you please be on camera so that we all know who are we talking to?
No problem.
There is Ntombi. Can you see Ntombi? Welcome here, please. Digital clap, please.
In 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Ntombi. You can continue. You can now put the presentation on. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to upload. No, it looks like I'm not sharing the right document. Just give me 2 seconds, Chair.
We'll do that. While she's still busy trying to get uploading the presentation, think about what white paper, what questions can you ask her, what is, okay, somebody spoke about government policy, things towards that line. Government bills, is it a bill? Yeah, a bill, not bills, a bill, think around that. And there's also brown paper, ne? Remember. So, ask about brown paper, white paper, bill, and law. Those things are a link, if I'm not wrong. So, normally when they...
Can you see now?
Yes, thank you, Ntombi. Continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Once again, Chair, I do want to say on the onset that my presentation of the white paper is not really to request the participants to make any inputs because we are closed with the process of submitting inputs. This is mainly for information sharing. Of course, this is a white paper. It will go through government processes. It will also go to a bill process. And when it's a bill, there will be another opportunity for stakeholders to make inputs. I'm just saying, Chair, if the stakeholders that are here never had an opportunity to input into the white paper, they still have an opportunity when we're going through the bill process.
Maybe, Ntombi, let's start with what is a white paper? Because I've got 2 answers here. Somebody said white paper, it has got to do with policy, government policies. The other person says white paper is an A4 paper. So can you please give us the correct meaning of what is a white paper? If you can, please touch a little bit also about the bill and touch a little bit about the brown paper. Thank you.
Okay, Chair. Chair, there is no brown paper. I think around 1994 we had what was called a green paper, but we no longer have a green paper now. You start with a draft and then white paper and then you get to a white paper. A white paper is actually an indication that the document will move various stages, so as this one, because this one is going to move from being a white paper into a bill. Then from a bill, it will go to an act where the president will have to sign. So there is no brown paper, Chair. So the white paper, it's really meant to say that it's going to be a continuous process. We are not going to end at a white paper level. The white paper is just an indication that it's going to be a bill. Once it's a bill, a draft bill, it will also go through, that process will not necessarily be, I would say, the departmental process. Obviously, when we publish it, we get comments. Thereafter, it will have to be a parliamentary process. So I'm not sure whether I was clear enough, Chairperson.
Did we get that? They say make an example of all those white, green, whatever papers in the bill. Oh, make an example of what is a white paper. Okay, maybe let me help you. In brief, before there is a law, if I'm correct, and please assist me, Ntombi, before there's a law, before there's a law, there's a process of consultation with the public to say to the public, we want to implement this kind of a law, but we want you to bring in your input as we draft that law. And then in that drafting, it starts with the white paper. Am I on track, Ntombi?
Yes, you are.
And then from there, they allow all individuals or public members from wherever in the country to make their inputs. Then they will update that paper with their inputs up to a particular date. And once they have closed that date, then they send it to, is it to Parliament for debate? Ntombi?
Not just straight to Parliament. First, it must go through government processes, such as we have what is called a cluster in government, where different government departments, the heads of those departments, and whoever that is appointed to sit in that cluster in various departments, they sit and look at whatever that would have been submitted by a government department. From there, it depends what you want them to do. For an example, if your purpose is to request them to approve that we take this white paper to cabinet now, then if cabinet approves it, it becomes, it's no longer a draft, it becomes a white paper, an approved white paper. So once it's approved, then it goes back to us as a department where we now start to draft a bill. So obviously the language of a policy in the bill or an act is not the same. So it becomes a bill, and we go through our own processes again of consultations. Once we are done with that, we go back to the cluster, go back to cabinet again, so that they approve that we now submit it to Parliament, and it becomes a parliamentary process driven by our committee, which is the portfolio on communications and digital technologies. So Chair, I don't know whether, are you satisfied with the explanation?
No.
No.
Okay.
Why? Oh my goodness.
Hello, Ntombi. If I was in an examination room and asked a question, what is a white paper? Would I be wrong if I wrote, it is a way a government present policies before legislature? Or should I explain what you've been explaining, that it's a document that will move to various places from a bill? Or should I just write what I just said to you?
I think you are right on the second one, that a white paper is a policy document that indicates that it's going to move from being a white paper to a bill and to a law. Right?
Okay, Ntombi, you may continue.
Okay. I'm just going to provide on my presentation the background and the context, what is happening across the globe, why have we come up with this white paper, and in the main, what are we proposing? So I really don't want to go to each and every bullet. I'm just going to summarize this slide, Chair. Just to say that around the world, most countries are actually looking at their own policies. I'm talking about, when I say their own policies, I'm talking about the audiovisual policies. And audiovisual concept, you would understand that it's a relatively new concept. The concept that people are familiar with is broadcasting, right? So most countries had broadcasting laws. Similar to us, we have a 1999 Broadcasting Act. So countries are reviewing their policies and regulations given that we are now in a digital environment, but there's also issues around convergence of technologies, where you no longer now have separate technologies. Technologies are one thing. For an example, we have what we call Internet Protocol TV, right? We also have, as I will go through my presentation, what we call video on demand services or subscription video on demand services, which is popularly known as over-the-top services. These are the services that are not necessarily using the frequency spectrum, radio frequency spectrum. What they do is they ride over the telecoms infrastructure. For an example, your Netflix, your Disney, your Honolulu, and others as well. Those ones, they don't necessarily use radio frequency spectrum. So in the main, this process, Chair, if I can also share, we started it in 2020, and we are now in a way trying to finalize it. So in the main, okay, let me just go to the next slide. Probably, maybe let me also explain the issue around ITU. ITU is International Telecommunication Union, which is an international body that regulates the telecommunications industry, including broadcasting. And what it specializes in the main, is the allocation of radio frequencies. For an example, to say this region will use a frequency from 1 to 20, I'm just making an example. Another region will use from 20 to 30, right? So that's the role of ITU. But also, it builds capacity around how policies must be regulated as they relate to telecommunications, including communications, which includes broadcasting and audiovisual. So this is just an example of countries, in the policy language we call them jurisdictions. So, for an example, in New Zealand, they've just published a safer online services and media platform consultation. They did it in 2023. And this is a process of reviewing their own policies so that they are in line with the new developments that we are faced with. As I said, we're moving from the traditional way of doing things in broadcasting, in telecoms, but because now technologies are moving at a very high speed, they are converging. So the policies has to align. The other country that has just signed into law an Online Safety and Media Regulation Act in Ireland. So that was recent in December 2022. So the last slide, these are also other countries that are looking at their regulatory authorities in terms of making sure that they work together. Given the fact that these countries are in the EU, and the way EU works is that they apply regional regulations. So these countries have come together to say they need to establish, some kind of a regional cooperation, just to make sure that they share notes in terms of how they regulate in their countries, as well as advising each other. So another international development is in Australia, where they also just produced an Online Safety Act in 2021, in terms of their own purposes, really to look at making sure that they expand online safety regulations, just so that when citizens are participating online, they are safe, their human rights are protected, and in other areas as well. Also in the UK, they've just passed an online safety bill. So what it means in the UK environment, for an example, in UK, their only ICASA is Ofcom, right? And its mandate has now been extended to look at online safety issues. In South Africa, we have a Films and Publications Board that is responsible for online safety. Once again, in Canada, they have an Online News Act, which was promulgated in 2023. Similarly, they want to make sure that they modernize their broadcasting regime and ensure that the dominant platforms compensate new businesses. Maybe I can just explain a little bit here. The online platforms, you would understand your Facebook of this world, your Twitter, which is the formerly known as Twitter, which is X now, your YouTube. Those platforms, many a times, what they do, they would syndicate news from the online platforms. For an example, we used to have the traditional newspapers, right? Such as Citizen and others. But now they are on the online environment. So these platforms, what they normally do, they would syndicate and take those news and put them in their own platforms. The reason why they're doing that is that once you have more traffic in your platform, you are able to attract advertisers. And what you find is that those online platforms, which they were traditional newspapers before, they lose revenue in terms of advertising. And these platforms are not compensating them when they receive those revenues. So this law is also meant to also address that. Also in the country, we had a similar complaint through our consultation, but also through engagements with the newspaper platforms, who are also complaining about the same issue. So that's how they are going to address it in Canada. So let me come back now to the white paper itself. The white paper, as I said, it's really a way of us acknowledging that there are global developments that requires us as well to look at our own policies, that we must review and update our own policies. But also one of the things that have come up is that we need to look at the future of regulators to say, is it still relevant for us to have separate regulators, given the fact that the environment has converged? Is it still relevant for us to have your ICASA, to have your Films and Publications Board, to have your .ZETNA, which is regulating the websites? So the white paper is also looking into that to say we need to make sure that we avoid duplications, because if we are to duplicate going to the future, we'll be wasting government resources and we'll also be frustrating the industry, because what it means is that they will have now to oblige to ICASA regulations, oblige to Films and Publications regulations. So we are trying to address that as well. So again, just to add, to say the draft paper also addresses issues as they relate to regulatory parity. We mean that we need to make sure that there is a level playing field when it comes to regulation, that everybody else that is participating in the space is regulated on equal basis. So that's also one of the main objectives of this paper, but also to make sure that we're not regulating one technology or we favor one technology. We look at a technology neutrality and make sure that there's fair competition to ensure that we support growth and investment in the country. So I'm sure you're all aware that currently in South Africa we have 3 systems of broadcasting. We have public, we have commercial, and we have community. So what we're saying in the white paper is that we are going to maintain those three spheres of broadcasting in the country. But what we need to make sure is that we have relevant regulatory frameworks, which will be your licensing, registration, and notification. But over and above that, as a country, we also recognize and acknowledge that there is what we call co-regulation. Co-regulation is when some of the industries, they regulate themselves, however, in partnership with the regulator, which is the council. That's what we call co-regulation. And there's also self-regulation. Your BCCSA, for an example, is one of those that are self-regulating themselves. And how they do this, they develop code of conduct. But those code of conducts will have to be consulted upon by the relevant regulator of that industry. Okay, let me just hide this because it's really disturbing me. But also to highlight the fact that we really acknowledge that there is no established universal approach, because regulating these many industries currently, it's a very complex process. And we're not saying that the white paper is coming up with a silver bullet. However, we feel that we need to be doing something. This is what we are proposing as a licensing framework. On the first column, we have platforms or means of transmission. In the middle, we have regulatory tools. And on the very last, or the extreme column, we have what would be regarded as exemptions. So when you look at my left, I'm not sure whether it's a left on where you are saying, but on my left, which is the first column, we have satellite pay TV, which is subscription. We have what I refer to is as internet. We have digital terrestrial, the OTTs, which is your video OTTs, audio on demand platforms. And those ones, what we're proposing is that they need to be licensed. And we're also noting the fact that there will not be any exemptions. However, if the regulator feels that some of these services could be exempted, and probably they just only need to notify the regulator, and the regulator will be guided by a criteria that would have been developed to say, if you provide a certain service, this is the criteria for you, and that criteria will determine whether you will have to license your services or not. And then we also have internet radio platforms. What is that? Those must be just registered. Video platforms. An example of that is YouTube, e-sport participation platforms, your social media platforms, your Facebook.
So Rintombi, we're losing you. Dombi. Dombi. No, it's not ours. Dombi. colleagues, let me try calling Tombi because angazi kwenzakale. I'm checking the translations.
So do you understand the presentation? Yeah?
It's a mix.
It's a mix. You don't understand the presentation? Yeah, keep the question. Keep the question.
No, that's me.
Put it in paper in, white paper in. I need you listen to people in parliament.
Colleagues or delegates, I need to we're struggling with load shedding in the camp. So not don't be la corner ukike in the load shedding. So she's now trying to log in again using phone.
Okay. In the meantime, let me just check.
So those that are struggling to phone.
She's going to share this thing, but okay, let me start here. Since the presentation, you were promised to get them. Did you share?
No, we haven't.
No, on the WhatsApp. Did you share? Okay, what has been shared?
Put me on the WhatsApp. No, they didn't put me on the WhatsApp. That's why I didn't share.
Okay, Zakele will be on the WhatsApp. Eh? I didn't hear that. Okay. Okay, I was saying, while Tombi is trying to come back, when we're talking about the white paper, the green paper, okay, the green paper, the white paper. This paper that Tombi presented has been in discussion 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But last year. Oh, okay, Tombi, you can come in.
Yeah.
You can, you can come in, Tombi, and I think there are questions. There are so many people that are worried about your presentation in terms of the white paper and whatever paper. So they want to know all that, but I'm not going to speak for them. They are going to ask questions themselves. That will show that they understand. But I was still saying to them, these papers are approved in Parliament. When you see parliamentary making noise about what is in the paper, whether they want this, they don't want that, it starts in departments. So they don't talk about something they did not draft. They talk about what Ntombi and others in the department and us making input and civil society making input. One thing that I know, when you are called to come and make input in these policies, you don't come. Someone was saying yesterday, you firstly check if there is food. If there is no food, you don't come. Just right now, before Ntombi comes in, if Ntombi you are not in the hub, there is a white paper at Home Affairs. People have been called so many times about the immigration. And you are complaining about the shops that are killing children because children are eating wrong food. You are complaining about everyone. But you as South African, you are not standing up for yourself. You are not going there. Instead, it's political parties that goes there and change what they want to change. But what is it that South Africans want to change? Over to you, Ntombi. You can listen to the questions. There was a question here.
Okay, Chair.
Yes, yes, Ntombi.
Chair. Don't you think it will be much more efficient if you allow me to present and then deal with the questions?
Oh, I thought you done.
No, I'm not.
Okay, no, that's fine. Continue, Tombi. I was outside. I thought maybe you done.
Okay, Chair. I was just explaining the licensing framework, what we are proposing to be done by the regulator in terms of making sure that we are regulating the new services that we have in the country. So, you know, many a times, and probably maybe your stakeholders at hand as well would want to ask, when we come up with the white paper, what do we think is the impact of the white paper? So we want to make sure that we realize a socially cohesive and economically inclusive society. Because if you allow private sector to run on their own, there's a possibility that there might be people that will be excluded. So we need to make sure that everybody else participates. We want to make sure that there's fair and effective competition. The issue that I've just referred to, ensure that there's universal access and affordability with regards to the audiovisual networks and infrastructure. There's also a section in the white paper that deals with cultural and national interest, which highlights the importance of the South African content. Even though in the past decade, digital platforms have dramatically opened up opportunities for people who are doing films, who are doing television content, those that are distributing, and those that are consuming content. So we need to make sure that when we accept or allow international services to come to South Africa, they also need to make sure that they reflect our own content as a country. Similarly, what we see on TV, where there are various languages, we want to make sure that these new services, your Netflixes of this world, your Disney, they need to make sure that at least at some level, or to a certain extent, they reflect, our official languages, which is 11, and we have a 12th one, which is a sign language. The other aspect that we think is very important as a country, and I think this aspect cuts across all policy government, all policies of government, which is to make sure that we provide audiovisual services to persons with disabilities, that we need to make sure that they have access. That also means that these new services and different platforms, they need to have access. And what that means is that they need to go an extra mile to make sure that the content that they provide is accessible to people with disabilities. And in that regard, what we are going to do is that there should be an annual report that will need to reflect compliance to these policy proposals that we're making here. And that report will have to go to the regulator. And once the regulator is satisfied with it, it will publish it for public consumption. I also want to bring an aspect of the Creative Industries Master Plan. There's a document that is called Cultural and Creative Industries Master Plan. That document was developed driven by 4 departments. Our department, Arts, Sports and Culture, DTIC, Trade and Industry and Competition, as well as Small Business. That document is actually an implementation document, and it was approved by Cabinet. That document is all about how we can support the creative and content industries in the wake of COVID, because COVID wreaked havoc in that industry because they were not able to shoot films, so as a result they were negatively impacted. But also to highlight that we have an SABC bill as a department. That process is now with Parliament. We have done all the consultation processes. That bill is to make sure that we have a sustainable and active SABC that is able to continue with its own public mandate. So this master plan, there are some of the issues that we've taken from this master plan because they are relevant for the white paper. Issues such as making sure that we improve access to finance and encourage that we have investment in the audiovisual industry, but also making sure that we come up with incentives to make sure that there's creation of local content, but also make sure that these new companies that are coming into our own shows have certain obligations of making sure that they carry local content, but also support the content production industry, as well as making sure that we improve our skills, because if you are moving into a new digital environment, you need to make sure that everybody is able to participate. For an example, if you want to access a video on demand service, you need to make sure how you navigate. For an example, here at home I have a decoder. That decoder is now linked to the router, and we need to know how those work together so that we're able to get whatever that we need. And this one is just really an emphasis on issues around content regulation of the audiovisual content services. I think this is the point that I've already made of making sure that persons with disabilities have access. Once again, even on this one, we are going to ensure that there is an annual research and report, as I said, on obligations that will be placed on audio and audiovisual content services. And we also understand that issues around funding are quite scarce because fiscus is dwindling. So the department, which is DCDT, we're also looking at a Universal Digital Development Fund, and this fund was proposed in the integrated white paper then, I think 2016, 2017. So we're hoping that we will then get funding for this annual report from this fund. This white paper is also talking at protection of children and consumers, that as we move to the multi-platform environment, we need to make sure that children are protected as well as consumers. And the issue that I've also spoken to of self-regulation and co-regulation, it's very important that there are codes of conduct that are developed there, but those code of conducts will have to be consulted upon, not only with the regulator, but also with the relevant stakeholders in that specific industry. We have what we call in the white paper, mass carry and findability rules. If I can summarize this one, Chair, it's really talking about making sure that South African content is easily discoverable, is easily found in these new platforms, and also public interest content as well. If you remember, during the COVID time, there were public announcements that were made by various broadcasters, being the SABC, your ETV, the radio stations. So even in this new environment that we're moving in, the digital environment, we need to make sure that that type of content is easily found and easily discovered. Currently we have what we call mass carry regulations. Those mass carry regulations are a requirement for a subscription or a commercial subscription broadcaster to carry the public broadcasting channels. And that's what I'm saying, to say going forward, we're just saying that now we need to focus on fundability and discoverability, and in that regard we need to come up with regulations. Now, we also have what we call ownership and limitations. These are really talking to how much stake foreign companies have in South African companies. Currently, is kept at 20%. So what we're proposing in the white paper is that it must now be increased to 49%. We're looking at issues of investment, making sure that we stimulate foreign direct investment. But however, there is a condition in what we're proposing to say when it comes to African Union member states, we are willing to increase or waiver the cap of 49%, but it must be done where there's reciprocity, meaning that there must be an agreement between South Africa and the relevant AU country to say they will also play our own content so that our creatives are able to benefit. Digital media and information literacy. In the main, Chair, this is really talking about making sure that we create necessary awareness to the citizens so that they are tech savvy and they know their rights when they go into the digital space. For an example, most of the time now, most people are using e-commerce to buy whatever that they need. So in that space, we need to make sure that consumers are very much aware how to use that space, what their rights are. And what we're proposing here is that there should be an interministerial committee that will develop policies that will focus on digital media and information literacy. And in this regard, we are also calling for an annual digital media research that will then tell us as a country in terms of how are we doing when it comes to digital media and information literacy. Online safety and media regulation, Chair, initially in the white paper, I think when we published it in 2020, it didn't have an aspect of online safety. On the one that we published in 2023, we have now included an online safety aspect and regulations as far as online safety is concerned. These were just what I've presented initially, Chair, just to illustrate what's being done in other countries. Where we are with the white paper, Chair, currently, is that we, as I've already said, we've gazetted it in July last year, and the closing date for inputs and submissions was initially the 8th of September. We extended it to 9th of October due to requests by stakeholders. I do want to say that we have already analyzed submissions that were coming from stakeholders, and we're now looking at incorporating those inputs and submissions into the draft white paper. There's also a process that we are busy with parallel to this process that is called socio-economic impact assessment. That process is ready to test the policy that we are introducing, whether is it relevant for the country, what will be the impact in terms of government, in terms of the industry itself, the costs, who will need to implement this policy and at what cost. So what we're planning is ready to submit the final white paper to the minister before we take it to those processes that I've outlined, Chair. And in that instance as well, we are to develop an implementation plan of this white paper in 2024. I need to explain this, Chair, because I've spoken about the bill. In the white paper, there are issues where stakeholders feel they are quite urgent that we need to address. So those issues will be lifted out of the white paper and would be part of the implementation plan, and we'll need to find a way of how we can then implement those. Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Chair. I'm ready for questions.
Thank you, Ntombi. Is it possible that you can share with me your presentation so that I can also share with the delegates?
Okay, Chair, no problem.
Okay, just hold. Okay. Questions? Comments? Okay. How many? One? How? Okay, for now we have one.
Thank you, Ntombi, for your presentation. My name is Roxanne. I don't know, is it a comment or a question? but I was part of the European Union project, whereby we had to do research in our local community. I don't know, was it, actually I just needed clarity. Was it part of like, was it a white paper, or was it just an input of a white paper or a Smalliana white paper? I don't know, but please rectify me. So we were part of this program whereby we had to do research in our local community and regarding issues that a young woman face in the community. And after that, we've done it and we've reported it to local, whereby it's your municipality. And after the local submission and they did nothing, we went to province, whereby there was also no feedback, and yeah, there were no feedback. And after the whole progress, just to cut the long story short, we had to submit it to the parliament. So I don't know, like, men don't be one, yeah, what she said regarding when people are not aware of having inputs in such papers. So I don't know, was it part of a white paper, or was it the implementation plan, or what was it? But I think you can rectify me. But that was the process that one had to go through, because I was just now busy Googling on actually what is a white paper, and I noticed that they said it's a document whereby information, you can give information that you have a problem with, and it's discussed, and it's a breakdown, and different people can have different inputs, like your stakeholders, your government, and so forth. So I don't know, was that a white paper or was it an input? Because we submitted it to Parliament in Cape Town. That was in 2018. So I don't know, or that was just a comment as well for those who didn't understand, because, yeah. You get me, man. You get me. You didn't get me. Mentombi, did you get me? Hello?
Hi.
Okay.
I think if you can repeat what that research was all about.
Oh yeah, I was saying I was part of a project. We did research on an issue. For instance, it was different provinces. Free State had an issue on unsafe spaces, like there's unsafe spaces, like there's no lights where young people go through. So that was our main issue, like lightning, your mutuamonas and what. And the reason where there's no lightning, it causes rape, unsafe spaces for young women. And after that, we had to report it to municipality. It's your local people. And to find out what are the process, we had to go through the IDP. Yes, we had to look if it's stated in the IDP, what's the plan in the IDP. It's the, what does it stand for, Kanti, in short? Yes, thank you, sir. For whereby you give also your input on, and then there's a budget stated whereby you see if they are going to do something with the question or issue that you have. And after that, we submitted it to province, and we don't know that they did something, but we had to submit our final thing to Parliament. If it was part, or like, was it a white paper, or was it just an input, or was it just a draft, or what? Or does that input help, or after the discussion they put that into the white paper, or what? Oh yeah, was it just complaints?
No, it's not linked to this white paper. It might be that it was fitting into a process that was done in Parliament. That's my suspicion, but that was certainly not part of this white paper. But it also doesn't sound as if it was a white paper. For me, I guess it was a fact-finding mission that would have informed Parliament in terms of what interventions can be provided to address what you guys were looking into.
Thank you, yeah, thank you. I thank you for answered. And then the other question I have, for our people that are not familiar to the white paper, where can they go, like find out, because Mothers also raise a question that our people are very ignorant. So people sometimes may stay there is a where you can have your inputs, like she just talked about the Home Affairs one and immigration, where people can go and state their complaints and what do they need to change. So where can people get that information, especially people in our community, whereby information is not shared properly? I think that's maybe one of the reasons why people don't give inputs, because some of the inputs are shared one-sided, and then people assume there are people that knows where to go. So I think if there's maybe an easier way for people, like if they really want to give inputs, because I know when we have stakeholders meetings, they will always ask them for a strategic planning meeting or plenary meeting, whereby all the inputs are being given. If there's something, for instance, now before the financial year ends, we had a meeting and then we had to go give input. So that input, they report it in the annual report, and then it falls part of the planning and submission as well. So I just actually wanted to ask for people that who is not part of an organization, who is someone from the community, but really wants to give input on burning issues that our community have. What are the steps that one needs to be taken? Because Mama said it's governmented, so can you just please help there?
You know what, ne? Maybe if I can just explain. Normally, when we have such processes, we also go to provinces, all the provinces. And then in a province, we will then identify probably a central town where we know that most people will be able to access it. Sorry. And then we'll have those consultations. And usually, we involve community radio stations, we involved local print media, we also involve national radio stations, just so that they can be able to disseminate the information as wide as possible in terms of the consultations. And those consultations, in many times, they are oral hearings. We have written submissions, and we would also have oral hearings where people come in and make their inputs in a particular policy or a bill that is being developed. So because at the time when we published this white paper, we were under COVID in 2020, if you remember. So we were unable to go to all provinces. It was in our plan, by the way, to go to all the provinces where we will then consult on the white paper. But however, because of COVID, we had to do it online, and you would understand the challenges of consulting online, issues of access. We all know that that data is still quite high, so that's a limitation for the majority of people to participate in these processes. And mainly what you find well-funded civil society organizations. You find that companies will send your high-powered lawyers, to these consultations. So it might sound as if a government doesn't reach out to citizens and communities to participate in these processes. But for this particular white paper, that was the challenge that we had. And actually, the one that we published last year, it was really a follow-up because stakeholders had requested that we publish another version of the white paper. Otherwise, it was not in our plan to publish another one. However, because this is a participatory process, we had to make sure that we listen to the stakeholders and publish it again so that they can give additional inputs into the white paper. Yeah, sorry, in a very winded way, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Thank you, Tombi. You want to say something? They look so confused, though.
Why?
I don't know. They must tell me why you look so confused.
I wish I can see them, but I'm unable to see you.
No, but we are the ones supposed to compare.
No, I can't see if I open my camera. My camera will only show my face.
Hello, Tommy. This is
Hello.
Patricia speaking. Seriously speaking, I
Yeah.
have never been so lost. This is the first time. I have never ever been so lost. When you started, I'm lost.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, where are you lost so that I can assist if I can?
I don't want to lie. From the beginning of your presentation, I had nothing. You lost me when you started to talk about white paper. When I asked for a definition.
Oh, I can see you now, guys. Thank you so much.
Hello. There's Victor. Can you see Victor? Hey, from the beginning of your presentation, I got lost when I asked about the definition, white paper. But Roseanne, the lady who just made 2 comments, I think she gave me some light on the white paper. But as for your presentation, I'm sorry, but I had nothing. Maybe I'm a bad listener.
Okay, maybe let me summarize this, right? As opposed to getting into each and every slide and being very technical, right? This white paper, it's a policy that is meant to regulate the new services that we have in South Africa. I made an example of Netflix. I'm sure we all know Netflix. Amazon, Disney. We all know those OTT platforms, right? And the thing is, you can't just allow these companies to come into your country without regulating them. Let me make an example. Broadcasters in South Africa are highly regulated, right? When it comes to the amount of local content that they must play on their platforms. For an example, multi-choice, in terms of the local content regulations, they are given to play a certain percentage of South African music, South African films, South African content in general. SABC, they also have their own obligations, which are higher than subscription broadcaster, which is multi-choice. The reason why they are higher because SABC is a public broadcaster, and it's one platform where most South Africans have access, right? So what we're saying is that when you have your Netflix, when you have your Disney, because they are in our market, they have subscribers in South Africa, therefore we can't just leave them out without saying that they must be regulated. Regulation means, for an example, broadcasters, they must apply for licenses, right, when they broadcast. So these ones currently, they don't have any license, they don't have anything, they just come into South Africa, they just market their services, they get subscribers, the money flies out of South Africa to go to their own countries where they are based, right? We have both Facebook that are in South Africa, we have both Twitter, which is now X, that they are in South Africa. We know issues around fake news. If I can just use a general term that everybody will understand. Fake news, you have people that get blackmailed on social media, their reputation is ruined and all those things. We can't allow those things to just go on without us as government intervening and protecting citizens, right? For an example, you see that there's cyberbullying, people are posting nude pictures of other people and all those things. We can't let those things happen just like that, right? We have kids now who are committing suicide because they have their pictures, compromised pictures leaked into the social media and all of those things. So in a nutshell, this is what we are trying to do as a country, to make sure that all these new services, they're able to access them, they are protected when they use these services, but also that we put obligations on these new services to make sure that they contribute to the economy of South Africa. I hope I'm able to summarize what this white paper is all about so that we are able to understand it in a very simpler way, hoping that I was able to do that. I was responding to the second question, Chair.
Yes.
So I just want to find out if the person is satisfied with what I've just summarized and explained. Yes?
Okay, no, Tommy, thank you. But let me check now if there are other hands. You have tried to explain, but I'm still taking this to them to say, when they are called in their communities to understand these policies that government is calling for, they don't come. And it's true. We can sit here and say that we don't know what you are talking about because Tinao asas. But you watch television and you watch parliament. Why do you think they are arguing about? Because they are arguing about these policies. I was still saying to them, Tombi, that policies start at government level. Then they will be going to parliament for the debate. And later, once they are voted, then it's when they become law, voted by president, signed by president. Right now, there's quite a lot of policies that Parliament is busy with. And Tombi, I don't know if you told them that this one, it's supposed to be finalized by end of March. Tombi? Eh? Whose network? Ours? We're back. Tombi? And Tombi? No call. We can see her online.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I was checking with them to see if they understood what you were presenting, and also to explain to them that these are policies that the Parliament discussed up to the level where the President will sign it off. There are so many policies that are there. But I also wanted to say, Dombi, to them, that we cannot sit and call them here and then they will leave here not even sharing the information. Because as you are saying you don't know, that means your families also don't know. So it's your responsibility to take the information and go and educate your child, your sister, your brother, and your parents about these policies, where they start up to the end. But the one I was emphasizing about, Dombi, was the Immigration Act. You have seen the minister. He's all over the show talking about it, fighting for you, because we are complaining about foreigners that are influx in South Africa. But it cannot work that you complain in your corners. Then you blame government. And you are also the wives of these guys that are here. Now, you must go and do the right thing. Go and debate the police. It's still open. This one that Dombi presented, it is now going to be presented in Parliament next month. So you can't make any input. But also, the policy that Dombi was talking about, it is more practical than any other. Because you guys like TV, you like Netflix, yes? You like to watch digital movies, you like digital radio. You can actually open digital radio for your own communities. Those things must be done by young people. Dombi, we have very young people in this room.
I see.
They are all young, so they cannot sit here while having their phones and not understand what is presented.
I see that Kelly is also zooming for me so that I can see them properly.
Yeah, he is. Just to see how young they are. I was asking,
they're quite young.
I was asking the other one. She said to me, she looks 13, but she said she's 19. She looks so small. And those young people, now that you have consumed such a lot of information, you will get these documents. Share with your community, share with yourself, read, and see what you can benefit out of this. I know that some of you, I am also glad Ntombi, they are very interactive group, but they are also very noisy group. Some of them don't listen. But we are also told, Ntombi, that we just went to print certificates. Many of them have passed the certificates. We are happy. That is the reason why we are here. And I also encourage them to say, NEMISA has about more than 350 certificates. Ntombi, they are going to be online or on one WhatsApp. I will request that if there is anything that you want to happen in Free State, anything, you must be part of that group so that we have contacts now. We have them. They must coordinate for us. Yeah, you must tell us when we say Ntombi is going to present something, then you must go out and look for people that are going to participate. You are assisting your community. You are assisting your family. Because people complain about many things. People think that nothing is happening. And then you ask yourself, your brothers from Africa, they go to internet cafe, the one that you go and print and do everything, that you did not open. They open for you, and they go there. You know what they are doing there? They're reading policies. They're reading the loopholes that you're supposed to say there are gaps in this policy. Government must close the gap. I'm not necessarily talking about how they came into the country. That one is not my work. My work is ICT as I'm here. But my issue is that you are not looking at all policies. Doesn't matter whether it's this policy that we're talking about. And you know, when you interact, I was interacting with a lady, the owner of this place. She was saying to me, she left the job that she was doing. She's now the owner of this business. Do you know what she was doing? She was working in Kokta, dealing with water, sanitation, testing water. You do need that kind of a skill. And I spoke to her. She's willing to help you. She's willing to teach you. That you do because you think, what can I do for community? It's not my thing. I'm not in that field. But she said, if they want to, I can help them. So that you get a skill and you can see that the country is short of this kind of a skill. Because you are complaining, your water comes out being yellow, it changes your teeth and whatnot. They are not safe for drinking. While there are people that can assist you with the skill. I'm just talking about the skill in general. Ntombi, without wasting your time, we are done with you, but you can stay online if you want to. Maybe for the last, they can just give you a digital clap. Are you there? Ntombi?
I'm still here, Chef.
Okay, wait for a digital clap, then you can go if you want to go. But if you want to remain, please remain. Okay, over to the leader.
In 3, 2, 1. She's a champion.
Thank you. you, Tombi, you are a
Thank
champion.
you very much. Thank you, guys. All the best, eh? And congratulations on your certificate.
Yes, they passed the certificates. Maybe it's only one of you, maybe none, that have not done it. But I told them that the certificate is just a beginning. You still have a lot. And I'm going to be on that WhatsApp. Sharon is going to put me on WhatsApp. Sharon is also teaching you. She's running the training on cybersecurity. There are also certificates that you do get. She can, if you say, okay, for now, we can pack what NEMISA does. We all do the digital, the certificates. Then you do that certificate. Then when you're done, you then continue with NEMISA. Because the one of NEMISA, it takes long. It takes very long because it has many courses. And there are also, I spoke to Jacques yesterday as he presented the work. He said there are some of the certificates that you have to pay something like 1,000 rand, but they are at a higher level. For example, they can be at the highest, I don't know whether you call it diploma, but he said he's still going to check. So you can get quite a lot. I've seen there was an advert here that was talking about Azure engineering. Those certificates, you get them here. And those are free. When you pay just to write, because they are not from NEMISA. They are international. And if it's 1,000 rand for real, we're just estimating. If it's 1,000 rand, it's nothing. Because you can talk to your parent to say, I'm ready to write. I want this certificate. These certificates, they are short in the country. Or this qualification or skill, they are short in the country. So you're not going to be one of those that are saying, I'm sitting at home with my degree. But if I come closer to you, what was that degree about? I find that you talk about so many things that are not necessary. I mean, I stopped doing history at the second year level at university because I knew that history is not going to take me far. But I did it because I was assisting history in school when I was at the college. And you can imagine how old I am. I was assisting those that were doing history. And I'm still blaming myself. If I stopped that nonsense, I took something else. But I only did history and education. So I can be an educator anytime if I want to. So I did history, I did communications. So I measured with education and pedagogy for education, for teachers, and the communication. At that time, communication was very broad. You will do everything with communication. Today, it is separated. Today, you do communication. They want you to be a spokesperson. You study for something else, marketing. But at that time of mine, we did it all. You will just prioritize, maybe do a certificate for that. I did journalism. I did film and television. I did all those things, broadcast. But today, we're talking technology. Then what it assisted me was to go and work for Telkom. I worked for Telkom for 9 years. I was a technical person. I was doing data lines. I was doing all that thing that you see, when you see a van, Telkom van, driving up to connect. He had me in the office to test for him. When he gets into the ground, dig, those that are digging for cable, I will test with them. But what is worrying me, why I'm telling you, there's quite a lot that I've learned in Telkom. My problem is that all those women who were also teaching me, they are out there because telecom retrenchments. They're out there baking amakwini. And it's so embarrassing because the technology that they have learned in telecom was very difficult. But they went out and do something easy. Maybe they are saying, "Eish, I don't have time for that." So if you are a group and you are saying, "Tina, we want to be technical women, technical men that are here," I can arrange with telecom. They can give you skill. There is a skill called planning. Plan for infrastructure. Plan the outside part for a network for the connectivity. There are people who does that. If you're serious and you are saying, because you must go back and check, you must go back and research what is it that you want to do. You don't need to do everything, but you just say, I have a group of people that are saying they want 1, 2, 3. Like I was talking about cybersecurity. The cybersecurity is in demand in the country. There's no one, there are very few technicians. You see that people are robbed all the time on the phone. But people are robbed because they are also giving information. You cannot allow a person that you don't know and ask you 600 rand on WhatsApp. And obviously that person is using Sharon. Sharon is asking 600. You are not phoning Sharon. Hey Sharon, I saw that you sent a message, you want 600. Then you say, Sharon, give 600 Sharon. Sharon never asked for it. In fact, her number has been hacked. You can also study to be a hacker, to know how to hack. Hang it? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Good hacker, yes. You can. Who is going to help those who are hacked? Unfortunately, we don't have a presentation from the department that are doing the toolkit. They will tell you how many people are being hacked. Maybe we can organize that. As long as you say we can connect on Zoom. If you are connected on that WhatsApp and you talk and you agree, not that once on the WhatsApp you decide, I'm going to do my own thing. If you say to yourself, in this WhatsApp, we can connect, you use your phone, then we call those people to come and teach you. The department has 11 entities. I don't know if you answered that question. Petronella asked the question. Did you answer? Okay, let me ask, so that you will know what this department does. As you are connected on the phone, it is because of this department. It is because of Department of Communication and Digital Technology. If this department was not there, you will not be connected anywhere. So there are entities that are doing this work for us. Now I want to know from you, you have learned most. I'm going to take, the entities are 11. So I'm going to divide this side 5, this side 5. One question will be anyone that I like. So I will start here. I want you, this side, give me the names of the entities of our department. Did Petronella ask the question? No, to those that were here, they know. Did Petronella ask you the question? The entities of the department? Okay, let me hear. Is there anyone who can tell? Entities of the department? There's no answer this side. Your notes, she did mention, and she said to you, it's your homework. You are supposed to know by now. That is the homework. Yeah, she told you about that. So what is the entities? department? Entities of the department? CEDA is for small business department. Anyone? You don't know? Anyone? I know you know all these entities. Yes, ma'am. Entities, please talk, because you have, I don't want to take time. And one of the entities, any entity. Okay, Sakara, next. Okay, please, I want you to see, what are you going to tell your families? Please, don't tell us about those entities of the department. Don't mention entities of other department. She was saying to me, CEDA falls under Department of of Small Business. When now we say SAA, falls under another department. Okay, Kama, here. You also don't know. Ayman, you talk. You also don't know. Okay, this side.
I think it's Code Academy, Free Code Camp, Microsoft and LinkedIn.
Entity. Companies. Okay. Companies that fall under department. Trade and industry. It's a department, that one. This side. I'm not asking you departments. I'm asking you entities of the department.
CIP.
No. I said entities or SOEs. SOEs of the department. Eh? And then right, they don't know the entities of DOC, of DCDT. Next, I'm asking.
Postbank.
Number one is Postbank is just there, and Raymond gave you things, and you are not even appreciating that you have these things. Postbank, one of the entities. Eh? Siafund. No, it's not. It's the stakeholder of the department. Yes. Who said Nemisa? Yes. Speak louder.
Nemisa.
What is Nemisa? It's an abbreviation there.
At least they said it.
Yeah.
Who said? Who want to say something again?
There are 9 or 10 or 12, I think.
There are 11.
11, you see.
Okay. You guys watch SABC every day. It's SABC. It's one of the entities. Centec.
Telecom.
Do you know about it? And I told them I worked for Telcom for 9 years, but they didn't see it. Centec. Who knows Centec? What is their work? What do they do? Centec. What is it that they do? Centec.
Yeah,
okay.
But what's technology? Without Centec, this country is doomed.
Say it.
Centec.
I was saying SABC. You can't watch SABC without Centec.
And you can't phone without Centec. You can't do data without Centec.
Okay, anything else? Centec, as you write, Centec. You must just go on website. Any other, anyone?
All the towers that are in the county that connect everything are owned by Centec.
And I started to tell them that this is the department that gives them the connectivity. Without this department, they will never be connected to the world or to each other. It's us as a department. We are not SASA, we don't give you money, but we give you connectivity. Okay, anything else? Okay, let me count quickly, because I see that you have forgotten. So we said Centec, SABC, Post Bank, Post Office. You also don't know Post Office? You also don't know Post Office? Yes, Post Office reports to the department. .ZNA. Do you know about .ZNA?
Let me ask them about another one. Who regulates SABC? Who regulates Post Office? Who regulates your Vodacom, MTN? Who regulates them? It starts with I.
Don't tell them. If they don't know, they don't know.
Aha.
Okay, it's ICASA. Yeah, you must think, guys. You must think. And Manpumala, you must write all these organizations. Because the reason why you don't go and look for what you want is because you don't know where. Okay. Raymond, ICASA. .ZNA, do you know anything about .ZNA?
That's what they won't know. And they are using it even now.
You are using emails, are the ones that are giving you emails. For you to connect to the world, it is .ZNA.
.co.za.
Their email is .ZNA. Do you know why are we .ZNA instead of .sa? Do you know why? Okay. Do you know where .sa was taken by? Which country took SA? Okay. SA was taken by Egypt. Because of apartheid, we were busy with apartheid. They then took the SA instead of us take SA. So we ended up take the last one after 1994. ZA.
And all the emails that are .com, they are not local.
You know that they're
all
not.
The emails that are local, LN must say .cosa, co.za.
And that money, if you're using a lot of Gmail, that money goes to America.
If you are using
Yes, a lot of email that, as long as you send, that money is not, all of them, .com, which is iCloud, all, Yahoo, whatever, all of them, they are not local. What is local is ZA. But you guys don't know, and you don't care, and you are taking, you keep on saying, yeah, they're stealing money. They're even stealing to you, because you are using it. You are using that money.
And it's creating jobs at their countries.
At their countries, yes. And then,
there's a hand up.
Okay, is there any other entity?
It's international, it's not local.
Okay, I was asking when you use gmail.com, it's following where?
You see now he's talking, you are talking, you won't even hear what he's asking.
It's not a South African thing. Like we said, South Africa is .za. So the people that are making us to connect to the world, it's .za. It's .ZNA that reports to the department. It's one of the regulator, like what Roman was talking about, the ICASA. Then there is another organization that regulates film. Which one is that one? What you project? Which one is that one? It regulates film. Assis, I already given you an answer. It regulates film and what is on
It
television.
regulates all the movies, the videos, anything that you visualize on TV, on phone.
Anything that you do.
They regulate them. They call them film.
It's film and publication. Are you aware of it? FPB.
FPB.
It's also report to the department. FPB regulates the content, especially for women and children, online.
When you watch TV and there's age restriction, that's where they come in.
Well, when it says age restriction, have you ever?
Yeah, that's
have you ever phone SABC and tell them what we have watched that you don't want? You have a right. That when it says age restriction, even if it did not say age restriction, when you watch something and you feel that is too much for your children, you have a right to write to that complaint section. It just say broadcasting complaint or what. Yeah. Then you write to them and tell them. Even if it's not good for your eyes, because the content is too much, you just write. Eh? Big Brother. Big Brother is,
It's not broadcast by SABC.
Yeah, it's on a lane. Yeah, that's
broadcasted by DSTV.
Choice.
But you have a right still, because FPB regulates them also.
Okay. We start the Misanity.
It's BCCSA.
Yes.
They are Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Yes. Yes.
So we also have, you can even say it. You can even say it. Okay, okay. Do you still remember all of them that I've mentioned?
What?
I mentioned SABC. Yes?
SABC, Postbank, Telecom, Memisa, Centec, Post Office, ICASA, Nonzeta, Telecom, FPB. There's one missing. BBI.
Broadband infrastructure. I know that one they won't
You see, I
know.
know them like a palm of my hand.
Broadband infrastructure they won't know it because no, but you usebenza khona udlala ngani laba basi nawo BBI broadband infrastructure it's just saying broadband they roll out broadband infrastructure. They need women who wants to get into the space. We sit with them and tell them that we want women who are going to participate in the broadband infrastructure implementation. But you remember when I was saying to you, when I was in Telkom, I learned 1, 2, 3. I was saying that because what I used to learn in Telkom is what BBI is doing. So if you can say to yourself as women in this group and men, it doesn't matter, we want Centec to teach us on infrastructure that they implement. We want to know what they do, but then you open your company. If you want to be one company, all of you, you can still do. But if you open your own company, you can actually have your own space, but then you must start teaching yourself. It teaches you, they can teach you about the planning, infrastructure planning. They can teach you about the connectivity. They are connecting for the department, the SA Connect. The policy of the department is funded by government. All that, it also needs women. Tina as a unit, as a department, our work is to ensure that women are empowered. So maybe before you go, on your space, if you do have a company, write and leave it here. When we give certificates, it will be done. If you have a company, whatever company that you have, I can call someone in the department to come and teach you and tell you. If you say, I want my company, or I want to create app for services, not the company that you're going to think about. How many of you who have companies here? Just raise your hand. If it's one, it's one. Then you'll have to go and open your companies and then post them on WhatsApp. Is there anyone who has company? You have 1, 2, anyone?
Tandy, can I check something please with you?
Yeah.
USASA, did it merge with BBI or not yet?
Not yet, so it is.
So there's another one called USASA.
Yeah, USASA.
What's the meaning of USAS?
Yeah, tell us.
Universal Access
They
Service.
must tell us.
Tell us.
No, they must tell us.
Oh, you are asking? Oh.
They will check.
But what is USASA? It's an abbreviation. USASA is an abbreviation. NEMISA is an abbreviation. .ZNA is an abbreviation. Okay, Centec is not. And what? BPI is an abbreviation. ICASA, which one again?
These people
SABC is an abbreviation. Yeah, I've mentioned that one.
No, they like other departments. They're telling us about other departments.
FPB is an abbreviation.
Film and publication, I already told them.
Yeah.
SABC is the South African Broadcasting Authority. USASA.
So what does it stand
Check. USASA. Universal Access. You'll find it like that. USASA, yes, we can put it there to tell you.
USASA.
So East Telcom is not a fully fledged part of the department. It's partially because there is a percentage that is owned by the private sector. But there is also a percentage that is owned by us. So I was fortunate that I have worked for them and I have learned a lot. They have a very good technology. So you can actually benefit from them. When you are in that group, please tell us what is it that you want. If you want, those with companies, please write your company, your name, and send it to me. But we cannot come to do the training for company. You see, from up until today, there is another training, Yama SMME, that is taking place. Mina, I need to give them a list of you, and they want companies. They teach you about iCloud, for example. iCloud can allow, you can be an iCloud, can learn about iCloud because you can create a space and manage the space of a company to hold or to put their own data in one space. That is also a career on its own. So those that have companies, they must write it in the paper and put it here in front of me. I only saw 3, but I can't call anyone from the department to come and do a training for three people. So the WhatsApp is going to assist you a lot. If you go on and off on the WhatsApp, just go once, never come back. So that we are not worried that the system kick you, he still want, in the meantime, you know you are not interested. So if you're leaving, you must just write, I am gone, thank you. Okay, a clap for me. I haven't got the clap. I'm still getting a clap, a digital clap.
Oh, it's for you. Oh, okay.
Thank you, I am a champion. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm told and I've seen your certificates are here. So Amos has made it, and Ray, they went and do the printing of certificates. We're going to request patients from social development nationally to come and do with us. How we do it, we stand there and they must see. Okay, they must see when you give you the certificates, and then we'll call one by one. Then later we'll take a bigger photo of everyone. Yesterday we did mention that you must look nice. So if you are, so if you are, just need a little bit of a lipstick and just cover yourself and smile. You know that smile.
That one is your question. Okay, can we listen to Madam Sharon? Yeah, you said.
Because someone must give you.
Okay, we are now going to be doing the certificate awards. Yeah. I don't know who didn't get the certificate.
Okay, after the certificates, we have one of our colleagues online who is going to thank you, who's going to give us closing remarks. So we are not done until she speaks. Uela Kekana is going to do that.
Okay, maybe as we start, come in front and give your people certificates. You and patients and Sister Andy, come in front there. I will just assist in, yeah.
Yeah, maybe before we start, is there anyone who didn't finish?
It's me. It's me.
All of you. All of you are done. No complaints. I'm asking them, they must say it. So I'm asking if all of you have certificates. Okay. No, we were not on this side.
Oh.
When we call a name, a person comes this side and we take photos. Who's taking photos? Is it a camera? I don't trust this camera. Yeah, you can use that camera.
Hello. Can we have some silence, please? To all of you. Are you not? You don't look happy. You don't look like you're getting certificates. How, guys? Give this room a vavavoom. I'm going to call the first one, Zamile Samusho. Vita Slachter.
Hello.
Zelani Jacobs.
Thank you.
Sebongi de Separi. Tabiso Tweu.
Siafuda must come. One person from Siafuda.
Spongile Sipali.
Sharon, come.
Stephanie Lambert. Tabiso Tweu. Sushi man. Sushi guy. Stephanie Lambelot. Roseanne Williams. Brulel Aquira van der Wald.
Any last words? Last word, no?
Poppy Molife Emily. Poppy Molife. Patricia Mpo Playman. Puluko Daniel Sebala. Warabile Kawenyani. Warabile Kawenyani. Warabile grade certificate la level. Nzwaki Sylvia Sitonga. Nzwaki Sylvia Sitonga. Ntabiseng Constance Met. Neonyani Neo Yona. Melonesia Peterson. Muiponi Grace Muiponi. You go girl, you a good girl. Mudiehi Mulehe. Matebuho Nombulelo Chabedi. Matidiso Elizabeth Tamai. Matidiso Elizabeth Tamai. Michael Eldoret van Zyl. Michelle. Monica Lisapo. Lizanne Kaylin van der Walt. Lizanne. Lucretia Williams. Lerato Mwalahi. Mwalahi. Lindiwe Kuku. Lucretia Smith. Isabel Natalie Plagis. Luciano Smith. Kirileng Jacqueline Murile Ntani. Kirileng. Ke lebogile morapedi. Ke lebogile morapedi. Katlego Moreng. Ketang Makwecha. Ketang Kwecha. Ketang Kwecha. Kiabezu Musang Monakani. Kilebogile Angeline Sempe. Freddy Tozamile Mutsukhai. Buitumelo Ngamani. Buitumelo. Dimakato Murobi. Fumani Sihiho. Sitloho. Then spelling se sengwe mo wena o a ke tsebe o ngwetse jwang spelling sa hao Sitloho, but you can rectify it. Don't be disappointed. Dikeledi Mutsamai. Dieketseng Letaka. Ubon van Zyl. Albon van Zyl. Dineo Mutsuiga. Jackie Sanduna. Okay, it looks like all of you got certificates. Please give yourselves a round of applause. After a round of applause, give yourself a digital clap, please. Warm it up, warm it up, warm it up, warm it up, warm it up. I can't feel the hotness. It's like.
Certificates in the air. Certificates in the air. Certificates in the air. Certificates on the air. Certificates on the air. Certificate. Thank you. Can we get seated so that we get a vote of thank you? Madam EK. Madam EK, are you there? Good afternoon, ma'am. Just a minute, we'll give you your time.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Can I please have your attention? Can we all be seated? Just a minute, we'll give you your time. Can you all be seated? Okay. Madam EK, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Do you want me to switch the camera on?
Yes.
Please do.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we're still waiting for you to come on camera. There you are. You 1 minute, please. Switch off the light. We can see you. There you are. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to switch it off, right?
They say no.
No, man. Let me switch it off, guys.
They say they want to see you.
Okay, on the serious note, I just want to thank you guys for availing yourself to be on the program. And I just want to put the disclaimer here. This is my first time attending the 365 GBV session. I'm actually new in the GDYC unit, and I'm looking forward to attend more session going forward. And I hope we are all reskilled, and going forward, this actually, the skill that we have acquired will take us further to overcome the gender disparities and increase economic opportunity as women. And I'm so glad to say, you know, I even, on the picture, I can even see, on the screen, I can even see men. And yeah, I guess not to take your time, but I think now we have been skilled, and we are looking forward as self-assured, you know, resilient and professional to navigate the digital world. And not forgetting to thank Program Director, Mr. Linders, in absence, who has done a sterling job, you know, conducting this session. And Director Ms. Mdlalus, your sleepless nights and countless hours in front of the email, make sure that today you implement this project. Never go unnoticed. And to our stakeholders, sure, we shouldn't actually done this without you. Sharon, I know I don't know you, Raymond, Amos, and all actually government, what do you call it, fears, who actually assisted us to conduct this this project. I said thank you on behalf of the department. We just want to thank you, and we actually say, you know, even if we call you in the next session, please respond as you did. And to my team, to our team GDYC, they know themselves, but you performed your assignment to perfection. And I hope will continue being, touching people's life. Today I will gladly say I'm one of the Tinswalo. If you remember, President gave us an analogy of Tinswalo to say that people are gaining and we don't hear them. I'm actually proudly to say I'm one of the Tinswalo. I will go out and continue to, you know, to educate other people. And on that note, I will just say, women, let's take our position. Dr. Raymond mentioned that we will. Let's have that thing out. We will make it. And today we have made it without, you know. And I'm just happy to say, Guguti, I just heard, but there's a main charter that is being drafted to say, look, together we can make this and eliminate the GBV. On the, yeah, I think from my side, I will just say to all of you, thank you so much, and congratulations to all. I thank you.
Give her a digital clap.
In 3, 2, 1. She's a champion.
Okay. Guys, always remember that change starts with you. Change starts with you. In addition to what she has thanked, or who she has thanked, I want to thank my colleague Zakele, who always makes sure that we are online, and he connects people, and he makes sure that all those who are supposed to present, they are there on time, and he makes his job diligently. And I also want to thank the venue for accommodating us, because they've given us a, you know, I can't even explain. The food, everything, it was just accommodating. It was another venue, and also the music sound, and everybody that was here, that was helping us. Sharon, Brare, you are always there for us, and I really want to know that we appreciate you, and you help us where we can't do, and you do even more, because I just asked you to go connect certificate for us, which we did, and I am really, really grateful for that. So in that we are closing the program officially. You're going to have lunch. Your transport will be here at 2:45. So this is your last day. Tomorrow you'll be thinking of me, thinking of all this nice food that you were having, and we won't be here. From my side, guys, you were my VIP, and I'm very, very, very proud of you. Very proud of you. Thank you so much.
Warm it up, warm it up. Last time, guys.
For the last time, it must be working.
Just one more time. Warm it up, guys. 3, 2, 1. She's a champion.
Lastly, let's all of us give a very huge round of applause for COVID to make this a success, because the logistics to call people to do all these things without her, the food, the tea, the transport, you name it, the certificates, she's madam all over. Digital home. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sharon is complaining.
I'm definitely complaining. I didn't teach you that. You're supposed to warm it up. Why are you not warming it up? Warm it up. For my hobby.
Oh, okay.
And then stand up, in fact. And Mom Tandi, they are the champions. Everyone is a champion. Warm it up.
Yeah, everyone, right?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's say we are the champions.
Yeah.
So we're not saying who. All of us. We are the champions. Let's all warm it up. Even you guys, let's all warm it up. Warm it up. Warm it up, warm it up, warm it up. Warm it up. Warm it up. Warm it up. Warm it up, guys. Is it hot? Yes. Very hot? Yes. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. We are the champions!